So I'm going to show you how to make an edge in DATAROOM.NETWORK. So to make an edge is a connection between two arbitrary bits of data, or in our what we call a data room, an object. So let's create two objects. So we'll call this object the source object, because that's what I call it in the software. Okay. Control S to save. And then we're going to create another object, and we're going to call this object target object, because that's what I call it in the software. So let's loop around here and we'll see the text only appears one side on most of these objects. I have kind of left it that way, and this is to save rendering time. And it's one of those little things, you'll see a lot of this in this particular piece of software, is that, for instance, the anti-aliasing, you look at it and we have very jagged pixels. So what I'm trying to do in every step of the design phase of this software is make it more efficient, because this is about reasoning with, it's not about pretty graphics. And so our 3D graphics are perhaps a little Spartan. But anyway, here we have source object, here we have target object. And so let's create an edge between them. So I would click the edge, I would click the edge button, I would open up the edge tag. And so here we have source object and target object. And so what it's waiting for is for us to click on these objects. So let's click on the source object. We see we have source object. Click on the target object. We see we have target object. Let's click on source object again to switch them back around. Okay, so here we have the source object. It is going towards the targeted object. So we're going to add a variable to this. And what we're going to say is we're going to tell the edge what it wants to communicate. And so we're going to say primary color. And so whenever the source object is updated, for whatever reason, it's going to send its new update with that color to the target object. And the target object is going to take that update. So we click save here, and you see now we have a line between these two things. And so if I were to do something, like the first thing I'll show you is that all of our edges are directed. So we'll start with the target object, and I'm going to change the color of the target object. And so we're going to change this to let's change it to magenta. Right. I like magenta, it's a good color. So we're going to click and it's going to turn into magenta. And so here we have that, and you'll notice that the source object did not change color. So let's go to the source object though, and we notice that we sent over primary color. That's what we added to the edge. And so now with this edge, let's change the color to cyan. And you'll see when I updated this color, both of these objects updated with that new color. You can do this for any variable you see in the variables window. So for any of these variables, you can pass along on that edge. How you would edit an edge is you would click this button and you open up the objects list, and you open up and you find the edge this way. And so it is a little bit of a maze right now. This is alpha software. But anyway, so if we wanted to, say, transfer over this to a highlight color, and so the primary color of this one turns into the highlight color. Whoops. So let's save this. Okay, and so let's look at target object, and let's update the object a little bit so it knows what we're talking about with the highlight color. So we have text. Let's change this to highlight color. Okay, so highlight color is magenta. And so let's change this primary color. And so let's change it back to white. And you see they both change because we changed this highlight color from this object color. And that is edges in DATAROOM.NETWORK.